Hello there, welcome to Monday the 27th of February 2017. I'm Doc Eon and this is me showing you the only two minis I finished this week. As I warned you, it would be a slow week for painting. But I did get these two big guys finished. I'm reasonably happy with them. I had a lot of trouble with their bases. On this guy, it came loose from the base when I pulled it from the holder, and with the other guy, the green stuff portion of it came loose from the plastic, and I had to super glue it back on. But anyway, yeah, I think I need to pull out a bit more to show the whole thing. This guy turned out to be more of a troll with a green color than an ogre, perhaps, but he's here in all his metallic glory. Now with this guy, I wanted to give him a darker skin tone. I'm not sure if it's too subtle. You can even see the highlights. So now we can see him in full figure. And yeah, but again, I tried to compensate for the fact that he's really dark by leaving a satin sheen on the skin. That creates some reflections, which creates natural highlights, not painted highlights. These are actual, you know, spots of light from the lights. And I think that helps when you have a mini that is mostly in dark colors, because this guy is really dark, and he turned out it's like a dark. I wanted to make it my original plan was to make add some sort of more yellowish tone to the skin to make it seem more like he is the half ogre he's supposed to be, but it turned out that I just made it really tan. This looks like a tan human. But I guess that, you know, can't always plan things out completely. This guy on the is like I said, green, because I didn't want to give him any sort of reddish or brownish skin tones, because I thought I wanted the contrast towards all the bronze, this yellow, gold, bronze, and green just seemed more dramatic. So in this case, color composition went before realism, if you can talk about realism with monsters like these. Because again, this guy's supposed to be an ogre, and they're not supposed to be green, they're supposed to be more sort of yellow, brown, gray, just generally dark skin tones. But anyway, that's them finished. Just so you don't think I'm just lazing around, I've actually put a bit more color on all these figures that are on my work table. So this pirate captain is going to have a red uniform with a white trim, white cuffs and collar, and brown boots, and so, which is the same as on the illustration on the cover. However, the priest here, he's painted with a pale gray, sort of whitish gray robe, but that's all wrong because he's in the Earth Dragon cult, the high priest of it, and in the adventure they're supposed to have brown robes. So I'm just going to give him some like a red collar, maybe a purple cloak, and some lighter brown trim, and that'll be fine. As for other robed guys, I've put down base coats on this guy, even some shading. Time to start highlighting up. You're gonna see I'm repeating a few colors here. You're gonna see the same red in a few minis, and this purple and the dark blue. It's these colors, the Hexglycan, the purple, and dark blue is kind of it's not just a dark blue. It has some violet in it. It's like a deep violet blue, deep blue violet, probably I should say, and that's what this is. And I'm also using that here. Her cloak is the blue, and the little collar though is the purple, and the dress is the red. And this is going to be a flame. I haven't gotten as far here. It's not going to stay white. I'm going to try to replicate the studio paint job on her, where the dress is a sort of free-handed flame pattern. It rises from white through yellow to orange flames, and then the top part is like a black background, like a night sky perhaps, to the flames, which I don't do. I'm not much of a freehander, you know that. I'm a paint by numbers kind of guy. I stay within the lines delineated by the sculpt mostly, but I want to stretch a little bit and try some freehanding here. So on this guy, what's happened is you remember that base coat of sort of a purple red, a mix of purple and red that I had. Now I've gone over the musculature with red, and it's actually several layers of very thin red. I've started essentially glazing on the highlights, and I think I'm done with this color. Maybe a couple of more coats, and then move on to an even lighter red and smaller areas of highlight, and keep glazing up. And I'll probably keep doing that until I get to the point where I think this last highlight was too light, and then I'll tone everything down and tie it together with a wash. Well, I often do a sort of glaze wash at the end to tie stuff together like that. And yeah, it's coming along. And then we have the Mad Max guy, which I don't think I showed. He was primed last time you saw him. Now he is. This guy is hand primed, by the way. And all I've done is I've started trying to figure out what I want the ground to look like. That's about it. And well, as for the orc band, I'm going to show you one example. All I did was slap on a base coat of green, a very thin base coat, just to try to find out where the skin areas are. And I see I missed a little bit there. See, I painted the back part of his arm and not the front part. But we can fix that. Yeah. Now, because I have so much on my table and I didn't finish much last week, I'm not gonna be adding anything to the queue this week at all, actually. Gonna hold back and be conservative for a while. But hopefully a lot of this stuff is going to be finished next week, and then I can start adding new projects. And for this week's unboxing of new arrivals, for once it's not a Kickstarter. This is a package from Hassle-Free Miniatures in the UK, and I just placed an order from them a while back, and it's arrived. And the first thing you see here is a lot of bases. It's 125mm plastic bases. This is one of the main reasons I occasionally order from Hassle-Free, apart from loving their miniatures, of course, is that I found in Europe, if you want to buy bases in bulk, Hassle-Free have the best prices. So that was one important part of this order. This little bit here we'll talk about later, and the main stuff that I got was some minis. Well, I wanted to get some sort of fantasy civilians. So specifically I got these, as they're called, village kitties and medieval kids and demon children. There's a lot of, you're gonna notice a theme here. Also, Alice with her cat is kind of youngish character. But then there's a couple of other sort of random fantasy miniatures. We have the, I think it's a Nubian with spear. This is some other medieval kid, some sort. And this is just a lunatic in a straitjacket. I think, if you recall the werewolf that was mid-transformation that I painted a while back, this is the stage before that. He's in a straitjacket, he's starting to transform, and then the other mini is the next stage. And what we have here are some larger scale resin miniatures that I got. Hasselfree do a few miniatures that are in 40mm scale, which is kind of... As I was saying before my camera battery died, these sculpts by Kev are in a sort of in-between scale. Most large-scale minis are either 56 or 72, some even 90mm. These are 40, which is sort of in between. It allows for more detail than 28, but it's smaller than 56. This is a fully armored female warrior, and I have another pack with two variants of a decidedly less armored version. It's I don't know how much you can see through the plastic here, but they're in sort of cheesecake armor. One of them, anyway. So what was this here? One other thing I really like about Hasselfree is that their customer service is great. They're not always fast because they're such a small operation. Sometimes they get delayed quite a lot. But when they do, they always compensate you with a goodie bag. And this is, well, in some cases almost literally, they provide you with candy. And here's some more candy. And then they add some stuff that they can't sell any other way, like pink sand. Probably nobody buys this. And they usually give you some of these sort of stickers for use with more modern games. But then they also throw in some minis. And in this case we have some goblin heads, helmet wings, not helmets, but just wings you can add on to helmets of other minis. Interesting. And yeah, again, I got a few minis. Well, first, I got a second copy of this guy, for some reason. I got another Nubian, one with a shield. They probably tossed this in because it's similar to one that I ordered. I get the homunculus again. This seems to be a mini they want to get rid of because you know, you've seen me paint 2 copies of this already. A zombified professor, which is interesting. This thing is more modern, but I can use it now that I'm heading towards a Call of Cthulhu sort of gaming again. And then a couple of more 40 mils. They probably tossed this in because I bought other 40mm minis, but these are more sci-fi, sort of post-apocalyptic. Tammy the Sniper Girl, you can't really see because she's a lot of pieces. She's crouching down and leaning on the butt of her rifle is the pose. Yeah, this is the upper body here. Yeah. Susie, on the other hand, is in a strange sort of leaping, flying pose, and she's holding a kind of futuristic polearm, and she's got blades attached to her boots, and she's doing a sort of flying kick with them, is the pose. I don't understand how she ever manages to stand on the ground with these things, but hey, it's science fiction. What do I know? So yeah, that was quite a large collection of stuff that Hasselfree gave me this time around, and yeah, it's always fun to get a package from them. So anyway, that was this week's show. Hope you had some fun, and I will keep painting and come back next Monday. Tune in then, and until then, I'm Daki Yan, signing off.